What's going on, everybody? Matt Wacek here. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today's going to be a little bit different than the tutorials that I usually share here on the channel. And I want to give you guys a blueprint that you can use to fund your website portfolio and also give you some of the pros and cons when it comes to taking that route and as a way to acquire currency in order to be able to fund the portfolio. And that portfolio has many names: pay-per-call affiliate, lead gen SEO, local affiliate SEO, pay-per-lead. There's so many different names. We're just going to call it a website portfolio. Now, I'm going to take my time with this. I'm not going to just rush through and just give you a chart. I want to take some time to explain really the benefits to doing this and why I choose it as my method to be able to fund my website portfolio, which is, by the way, SEO services to clients and building websites for clients, specifically lawn care and landscaping businesses. I just know the industry very well. I've spent a decade in that industry, so it makes it really easy to communicate it. I'm extremely confident when it comes to sales conversations with those types of companies because I know the industry very well. I understand their problems and I know how to solve them as well. So if you don't have 5 to 10 minutes to pay attention to a video like this, that could be something that could allow you to potentially quit your job or at least have some side income coming in from selling a service where you can then fund something that could make you a lot of money over the period of the next several months to a couple of years because of the things that we're going to talk about when it comes to some of the benefits of having a portfolio of websites. And before we get into the pros and cons and getting into the specifics with the particular business models, you have to have some type of skill set that is of value to somebody else to the point that they're going to be willing to exchange currency for that. So for example, let's say you're someone that's good at graphic design. You can do social media banners for maybe someone's YouTube channel art or their Facebook group or their Facebook business page or whatever it is. You are going to have the skill set of being able to do the design work and making sure it's the right aspect ratio and all the things that go into that type of design. And it's going to take a lot of time to learn those particular skill sets. Now, the other point that I want to make, and I'll keep it extremely brief, is ideally, you're going to want some type of freelancing skill set or side hustle, whatever you want to call it, whatever services you're selling. It'd be ideal if whatever the work is that you do coincides to an extent with what your SEO website portfolio involves doing. So that's why I do client SEO and also website design for clients, specifically in home service businesses, because the website portfolio is the exact same thing. The only thing different is the logo, the contact name, and maybe some of the wording that we use on the sites. Now we'll start things off with the positives for the website portfolio and also with clients. So the very first thing that you're going to really realize with clients, and this is what's great about working with clients, is you're going to get paid right away. Oftentimes with a PayPal invoice or a Stripe invoice, whatever processor you use. I actually recently had a client send a check for some on-page services that we did, which was a little bit unique because everybody else pays with PayPal and Stripe, and it was actually kind of a cool experience to go to the bank and actually do that sort of stuff because I had not really done that since 2015 with my landscaping business, and that's where things are really common for people to just pay with a check for a landscape project. So that was a cool experience. You're going to be able to get paid right away, and if your service is of value to a business that's going to eventually generate them money, whether it's in the short term or it's for the long term, as long as your skills are up to par, you're going to be able to charge a very good sum of money. But if you're charging $5,000 and your website sucks, they're not going to be very happy. So you have to be well versed in building the website, and you have to also know SEO because you want the on-page to be on point as well. And that's one of the things that I stress heavily with the websites that we build here that are part of our portfolio. But if you're doing it for clients, it's equally as important because it's one of those things that can really make the difference between a website that generates them 20 grand a year versus $100,000 a year in new clients. Now, the next big benefit to working with clients, and specifically if you're doing higher ticket services, is that you can use the profits from that to fund your website portfolio, but more importantly, use it to fund your life. So things like your rent and your phone bill, insurance and gas for your vehicle payments and food and all of that sort of stuff, and a gym membership. Basically the things that allow you to be able to live a normal, stress-free life, which is key. I can't really stress that enough because I learned this the hard way in 2016, 2017, and even parts of 2018, where you're just not able to work on the things that matter, which is building a big portfolio of websites which are going to be of high value in the future that you can then sell, you can't focus on that if you're stressed about how the rent's going to be paid this month and that sort of stuff. It's going to put you into a really emotional state where you're worrying, you're angry, there's no certainty, and you're not able to work. Because back in 2016, 2017, parts of 18, when I was trying to do all these different businesses and nothing worked, e-commerce stores, trying to sell Facebook ads to clients and so many different things, and nothing worked, and I was spending money to learn the skills and being able to advertise and all that sort of stuff, that puts you into a really, really bad place because you're worrying about how you're going to pay your rent and how you're going to be able to eat next week. And that's not a good spot to be. I don't care what any entrepreneur out there says about, oh, I'm going to invest everything. And granted, yes, I do invest the vast majority of my profits into growing my portfolio and just growing my business as a whole. But if you don't have the basics covered, your brain is going to be in a state of just panic and fight or flight mode and an emotional state where you cannot think logically. You're going to be angry. Your emotions are just going to be jumping all over the place, and it's a horrible spot to be. And I have been there, and if you're going through this, I understand it fully. But you're going to have to figure out a way to get out of it, whether it's from a job and then eventually selling services, which is what I had done. I worked a job through 16, 17, and a lot of 2018 before I was able to acquire enough clients to be able to fund the day-to-day things. So bottom line, the biggest benefit to selling services is that it can fund your life, remove the stress. So that way the only stress that you have is just seeing your list of things to do and realizing that, oh man, how am I going to get all these things done? I just got a lot to do. Now on the flip side, the website portfolio and the positives that go along with that. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of these and why it is such a good thing to have, because obviously up to this point, the vast majority of my content is all about building one of these portfolios of websites. And I want to cover a couple things that are extremely, extremely important concepts that you really need to be aware of when it comes to having success in a type of business that you're going to build. So we're going to start things off with one of my favorite things, which some may see this as a negative, and to an extent it can be, and that is delayed gratification. A lot of you don't want to hear this, but the vast majority of the world, actually I would say 99.9%, is addicted to dopamine hits from social media, from Instagram, from Snapchat, from TikTok, from whatever other networks are out there, and just getting the quick hit. And that's the way our brains are designed to work. It just wants to feel good. So what you need to do, and this is very, very, very tough to do, and this is something that have been able to work on, I've been able to progress with this. I'm not perfected by any means, but if you can retrain your brain to only look at the future dopamine hits that you're going to get, where after 3 to 6 or 9 or 12 months of persistence, consistency, and perseverance of working on your sites and being able to fund the backlinks and fund the purchasing of Google My Business listings and ranking them and all that, where you can see yourself generating $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month in affiliate commissions or with selling leads directly to a business. If you can retrain your brain to just focus on that long-term goal, or maybe it's something other goal beyond even just that, you're going to be miles upon miles ahead, whose attention span is less than that of a squirrel. So I encourage you to delete the Facebook and Instagram apps, especially from your phone. So bottom line, delayed gratification directly correlates to controlling your dopamine. Be focusing on the future, and yeah, it may suck and be really boring and not very fun to go in the red building 100 websites at the same time and spending money on links and all of those sorts of things, and you're not going to see any type of return for 3 to 6 months. But you have to look to that 3 to 6 month mark, or the 9 to 12 month mark, where you're going to be at those goals you've set for yourself when it comes to how much revenue you want to be taking in. Now, the second benefit to a website portfolio is that you have nobody to answer to except yourself. So you're ultimately holding yourself accountable. You don't go build out those 100 sites and build all the links and all that sort of stuff. You're the one who's going to suffer from that lack of work, and that's just going to be no websites out there, no websites ranking, no websites generating you any revenue. So this is something that you have to really realize, that if you're not doing the work, nothing's going to happen. And that's the beauty of it. And that's going to be the same thing with clients to an extent, but if you're someone who's not doing any work, you're probably not even going to be getting any clients anyways. So that kind of leads into the next part, is the scalability is unlimited. I'm just going to abbreviate this, because there is truly unlimited scaling potential to the websites that you can build. Because if you're using a software, especially like City Page Pro or Magic Page plugin or whatever your chosen software is to go out and build pages, You can build hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sites. It's just going to take the work to do it, or if you have a staff that can do it, it's going to take the time to do it. But there's really no limit. For 50 states across the entire United States, multiply that by probably about 100 to maybe 150, maybe 200 services. You can do the math right there for how many websites you could possibly do. And that doesn't even include the thousands upon thousands of cities that are above a population of about 20,000 that you could be building single city sites for, whatever niche it is that you are working in. Now, the next benefit that a lot of you may already be aware of, but that is that you can sell the site for a very nice multiple. We're talking anywhere between 20 to 35 times the monthly profit. And that's what the value of the site is, the website valuation. Similar to how someone will start a restaurant, maybe sell that to an investment firm, or they'll sell a service company that's basically running on autopilot with all its staff and all the management and that sort of stuff, and they'll be able to sell that for millions upon millions of dollars. Same principle here with even just a lead gen site that's maybe only making $500 a month, or we'll do the math, keep it easy. Let's say it's doing $1,000 a month profit. That website could be worth anywhere between $20,000 to $35,000 or more, depending on its value and the uniqueness and that sort of stuff. So I've sold one site thus far, and I believe the multiple, it was a few months back, but the multiple was around 21 to 22 times the monthly profit. And it was only doing about $30 to $40 per month. So it wasn't anything crazy, but it was a stepping stone, and it was a great way to get things going. But it was a cool experience to do that and be able to see that, okay, I can put my efforts into something now, and maybe in a year or two from now, I can sell that for a very nice chunk of change and use that to either build more sites or build another kind of business or whatever it is that you want to do. That gives you options. That's one of the things you want to keep in mind if your plan is to build and then sell, which is what my goal is with pretty much every single one of my sites. And lastly, you can do things however you want. We'll just do HYM. So what I mean by this is that when you're working with a client, you're building a website for them, they are going to have their specific list of wants and needs and how they want things to look, how they want things to be said, and that sort of stuff. And you can kind of freestyle with a website portfolio. If you want to get quirky and kind of funny to an extent and not just be straight up RoboCop or Terminator with your content that's on your website, be a little bit not like childish or anything like that, but somewhat playful, maybe doing like plays on words, using puns and that sort of stuff, which kind of throws a curveball into things. You can certainly do that. Or if you like one specific kind of design and you want to stay with that for all of your sites, you can do that. Whereas with clients, especially if they're spending $5,000 or $10,000 on a website, they want some uniqueness and they want to stand out from their competition, which if you're good enough with websites, even just the base stuff is going to be a lot better than their competition. But either way, they want to have some type of say. The benefit with a website portfolio is that if you like how it looks, it's converting, then you can just keep going and run with it. Now, there are, of course, cons to both working with clients as well as building a portfolio. We'll start off with clients. You are on someone else's agenda. And what I mean by that is that you have to confine to the client's wants, needs, desires for what they want with that particular service. So if they want their website to look a particular way or use a specific color style that you may not do with your own websites that you are building for your portfolio, even though it seems to make the most sense to do things in the way that you do them, if they don't want that, then you have to listen to what they say. Otherwise, they're not going to be happy. And you do not want unhappy clients. Simple as that. Now, the next thing is extremely important that you pay attention to. And that is that a lot of times people will say, oh, clients are a pain to work with and that sort of stuff. And while that may be true, if you focus on this one thing, you really won't have any pain with your clients if you focus on just getting them results for whatever it is that the service is. For example, building a website, basically build a very impactful website that looks good and it presents a very professional image of the company, and it's also set up with good on-page, so that way it's going to be able to rank for some of the keywords for the services that the website is about. So let's say it's a landscaping company. You can set up those individual service pages for retaining walls in their home city, and you're going to be able to help them get more clients in that city for those exact services. That's one thing that's going to help tremendously with getting results, and you don't even really have to do a whole lot with SEO. You just got to really know where to put the right words, essentially. And it's actually very simple to set up, especially if you've watched some of the content here on my channel in the past. So just be focusing on getting them the results that they want, which for most businesses, if you're doing marketing for them, is more customers. It isn't technical SEO, it's not anchor text, it's not content, it's not citations, social, it's none of that crazy stuff. They just want more clients coming in. They don't really care how you go about it as long as the price is right and it fits within their budget. And the final con to a client service business is the fact that you are essentially trading your time for money just like a job. You're basically just creating an elaborate job for yourself. And this is the case with 99% of the service companies out there that people start. Some people are really happy with that. You're essentially just self-employed. You don't have to go work for somebody else. And that is all fine and dandy, but if you have goals to build and sell something in the future, or to be able to grow excessive wealth, or whatever your goals are financially, it's very, very difficult to do with a service-based business. You're either going to have to scale a lot with a ton of employees, and there are agencies out there with hundreds and thousands of employees, or you're going to have to put the money that you're making from your client services into another business that's going to be able to work on a more automated type of scale. And when I say automated, I don't mean sitting on the beach doing nothing while the website makes you money. You can do that, but it will take multiple months and maybe even multiple years to get to that point, depending on your work ethic. So just know that going into it, that you're essentially just trading time for money, but you're able to get paid better for it because you're offering a very valuable skill, if it's something like digital marketing, to a local business. Now, there are a couple negatives to a website portfolio, beginning with knowing that you have to invest capital in order to make this actually happen. You're going to have to invest money into a domain, hosting, software to build the website, GMB listing acquisition, backlinks, and all the other stuff that goes in along with building out the website. You're going to have to invest into that, and you're going to essentially be running in the red for a few months. But you just have to look into it that, okay, if I was spending, let's just say $500 on a site over the course of 3 months, after 3 to 4 months, you're going to start to see that investment pay off in the form of traffic coming to your site, because it is ranking with calls and contact form submissions. And let's say that month 4, you generate $25. Then the next month it skyrockets up to $100. And then the month after that, it's $250, $500. And you can even scale the site out a bit, and you can even maybe get it to $1,000 a month, depending on the city and the service that the website is all about. But you have to go into it knowing it's going to run in the red for probably 3 to 5 months, maybe even 6 or 8 months, depending on how competitive the search result is. So just know going into it, you're going to have to invest capital before you see an ROI. I see it time and time again with people in the Facebook group or commenting down below in videos asking me to review their website. I give them a review video and I tell them, hey, fix this, this, and this, and start building backlinks, start getting in, putting in the work. And after 2 months, the site is now suspended and they just gave up. And of course, you're not going to get any results if you're just going into this with the mindset of, how can I have no skills and how can I put in the least amount of work and only for a month, so that way I can sit on the beach for the rest of my life. It is not like that for any type of entrepreneurial venture at all. So just know going into it, invest in capital, and you have to put in the work. And this leads into the final point, which is technically a positive and a negative. Delayed gratification, why it's a negative is because, of course, who wouldn't want something to, you build it today and tomorrow it starts making you $20,000 a month? But that just doesn't happen. So the reason that it's not a good thing is because I see so many people come to my channel, they'll leave a comment on a video, or they'll post in the Facebook group, or they'll send me a message. For example, they'll say, hey, can you check out my website? And I'll do a review video for them, and then 2 months later, you go and look at the website and none of the changes have been made that I suggested, or the website's just gone. It's on a suspended page. So they just completely gave up. So that is what I want you to take away from this, is that you have to just embrace putting in the work, whether it's to sell service to a client or it is to build a portfolio website or any other business endeavor that you want to do. You just have to put in the work. There's no escaping it. Now, if you liked this type of video, be sure to go down below, smash that like button, and also leave a comment and let me know what you think of covering these types of topics. I know it's a little bit different than the tutorials, but rethinking and reprogramming the brain is something that I think is extremely important, if not more important than tactics and tutorials and that sort of stuff, because if you can figure out how to tap into your brain getting dopamine from longer term goals, then you're really setting yourself up to achieve great things in the future. So, and if you want to stay up to date on my journey with what I share here on the channel, be sure to go down below, join our ever-growing family, hit that subscribe button, and also click the bell for the notifications so you know when all of the newest content comes live. If you like what you saw today and would like to learn more about building a website portfolio and get results just like these guys did, then I encourage you to go down below to the first link in the description to check out our course, where you can get access to guided step-by-step training on how to build a website from scratch, rank that website, and monetize it with a local affiliate offer or selling the leads directly to a business. So with all of that said, I will see you guys in the next video.